Voiceover Social.
Hello.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, Mrs. Helen B.
Oh, hello, Rob. How are you?
Oh, yes, it's good. Day one back at work after Christmas, and for some reason I'm feeling very full of energy.
Well, I'm not, so look at you.
I know, I don't get it. I'm never full of energy on a Monday morning.
No, you're not. This is very... I'm genuinely annoyed by that.
Yeah.
How did I not spot that?
I don't know. Well, you've been sat downstairs all morning.
I've been in a cheese coma, Rob.
Yes,
It's all good. It's all good.
Before we go any further, just one little thing to say, and that is that we are doing things a little bit differently this month in that the closing credits will be halfway through the episode, and at 39 minutes and 15 seconds, there will be a mindfulness exercise which will take us through to the end of the episode. So if you just want to do the mindfulness exercise, skip to that point and ignore everything else, but you will be missing out on some good stuff.
I mean, why would you want to just skip to the end?
Well, maybe the second or third time you've listened to it, you might just be wanting to do the mindfulness thing.
No, that's good because it is there for repeat use.
Yes,
it's good.
Yes. And on that mindfulness thing, we'll come to it a little bit later, but just to say that we do have Elroy Spoonface Powell as our guest this month, and we will be interviewing him shortly.
It's exciting. So what else? We've got a couple of other new things that we need to kind of tell people about first, though.
We do, and what are they?
We have 2 new voiceover social groups. Woohoo, 2!
These groups are coming in thick and fast.
It's kind of cool, isn't it?
It's great.
We had one that started just before the Christmas break and one that's kind of popped up during, which is very exciting. So we have 2 new groups. One of them is Wessex, so that's south... West-ish. It's not fully southwest. It's not Cornwall.
It's not Cornwall,
but it's Cornwall.
Yeah,
but it's down that way. But yeah, and so it's sort of Salisbury area, that kind of thing.
Salisbury, Wiltshire, Somersetish almost, maybe even.
Yeah, that kind of area.
It's definitely the closest to Devon and Cornwall, anyway.
Yes, that is true. Although, you know, if anybody's based there and wants to set up a social, just mentioning it, just saying.
Just mention.
And the other group that we have set up that is brand spanking new is VO Social Kent.
Kent? So that's south east.
Yeah, nearly. You're not that awake then.
I just shit at geography.
Excellent. So the Facebook groups are set up. We've got our lovely new group leaders and they're sat waiting to chat to people in those areas. So if you are based down that way or if you visit down that way and you want to join the local voiceover social groups, then head to the website and the link is on the socials page.
Hooray.
Yeah, it's exciting.
And what else is exciting about January?
Oh, my brain is all consumed by the great big voiceover social. Oh, for those of you who are sick to death of us talking about this will be the last podcast that we mention. Well, we will mention it in February.
We'll mention it next week because we'll be telling everyone how brilliant it was.
Oh, my word. But the next time we do a podcast, it'll be done, which is like really terrifying.
Yes, there's a lot of work to do between now and then.
But it's very exciting. We've got ticket sales going. It's selling really well. I think there's about 70 or 80 of us going so far. And
Amazing.
We've just about topped the 40% ticket mark, so that's cool. So we've got the last few weeks for those available. Tickets are not quite on sale up to the date, so do make sure that you book your ticket a few days in advance because obviously we have food orders to do and they have a deadline for that. So get your tickets as soon as possible, please. Yes. And we'll also be launching all the add-on extras now. We'll be doing much more shout-outs for all of the sponsors and the expo areas. You've got one-to-one bookable sessions there. We've got some paid on extras, so you can book a photography head shoot, you can come to a gin tasting, you can come to a beer tasting. We've got a buddy scheme running for people that are coming on their own or just don't really know that many people, so we can put you in touch with people before. And a massive shout out, I say it like it's a last thing, but it shouldn't be. Our gold sponsors, and we now have 2 gold sponsors, which I'm absolutely thrilled about. Thank you hugely to Badalgo and the Voice Finder, and links to their websites and all our other sponsors are on the website.
Hooray, yes. So very much thank yous to Badalgo and the Voice Finder for coming in as gold sponsors. Also thank you to our other sponsors as well, obviously. They are providing great help for us in kind of organising and funding the social. So,
and lots of them are running the one-to-ones
yes,
as well,
and
which
yes,
is,
lots
which
of them
is
are doing the
brilliant. And they're
one-to-ones.
putting stuff into the party bag that everybody will get, and yeah, it's going to be exciting.
Amazing.
So head to greatbigvoiceoversocial.com and buy your tickets. And see you there.
Yeah, find out a little bit more about what's happening on the day on that website as well.
I know, we've got a magician and everything. It's going to be ace.
So, what are we doing? We have mentioned Spoon, but what are we doing in this month's podcast? What is the interview?
So we thought, take things a little bit differently in January, hence the slight readjustment of the order of the podcast. But we're going to have a little bit of moment of mindfulness, a time to kind of sit back and relax and reflect on some of the really positive stuff that's happened. I know a lot of businesses feel a huge amount of pressure, certainly I do, to do end-of-year reviews and set goals and New Year's resolutions. And actually, I find that really difficult in January. I am far more likely to do those things in spring when everything is brightening up and the energy's coming back. And my energy seems to come back a lot more to do that kind of task in spring rather than doing it in January when, quite frankly, I just want to hibernate a bit. And also, I think we both know, and I'm sure everybody listening does, that actually as wonderful as Christmas and New Year and all the festivities can be, they can also be really stressful, busy times of year with commitments with family, with friends, with trying to see everybody, with trying to not see people potentially. There's money issues when you're spending more potentially or just not earning more because other companies are on holiday, disruption to our normal work week. I had absolutely no idea it was Friday last week.
It wasn't Friday all week.
Well, no, that's true. You see, this is what happens when Helen has a break. My brain melts. And so we thought, actually, wouldn't it be nice to just spend a little bit of time catching our breath and just relaxing a little bit, just taking things a bit slower? I'm so excited Spoon's doing this for us. We've known Spoon for a good number of years. He has the best voice for doing this. He is a voiceover as well as a mindfulness coach. But we thought January was the perfect time of year, and we really hope that people can use this exercise that we've got. He's given us some free downloadables as well, which will be in the show notes. But the mindfulness exercise that he's given us that you can go back to, and if you do have those moments where things just get a little bit too much, which, let's face it, as much it happens to us all repeatedly, that you can go back and just use it again and have a moment. And he did this with us, didn't he?
He did.
And I was genuinely beaming at the end of it, and I was so tired when we recorded the session. Oh my word, it was lovely. I felt a real lovely warm glow. So I hope every one of you that does it, I hope you feel that too.
Yeah, but before we actually get into the mindfulness exercise, we do have the interview with Spoon. As we've said, he has had a long and varied career, which does strongly include voiceovers. Yeah, I think many of you will know Spoon from various conferences and things like that anyway. We had a great chat with Spoon. Yeah. Just absolutely fascinating career. We do have to give a small trigger warning because there is a little bit, maybe about 30 seconds or so in the interview where he does talk about domestic violence. But other than that, it's all plain sailing. So please enjoy this interview with Spoon.
So, Spoon, would you like to introduce yourself?
So, Elroy Spoonface Powell, Spoon, a voice guy. The last few years, very much coach Spoon as I've been supporting people in the mindfulness space, reframing emotional blockages, assisting people with challenges that make them feel stuck, I'd say. And outside of that, very much a voice actor, award-winning voice for my contribution to Dying Light 2 video game.
Nice.
I've been acting, voice acting, had a #1 record.
Just
which was my introduction to. Just slip it right in.
Just a side point. I had a #1 record.
And that's pretty much where it all started, and very much grateful for the career that I've had so far, and it's still early doors.
That's fabulous. I mean, that's quite a portfolio of work there. I mean, how does voiceovering fit into that? Has it been a major or a minor part in everything? How do you feel about it? Do you enjoy it? Tell us about your voiceover career.
Starting from singing, of course, that's using your voice, but they're two very different beasts. With the entertainment industry, with music, I found actually a lot of success. The first song I ever released went straight to #1. I hadn't been involved in anything else, and it hits you, and you don't have time to think about it until years later, because you're just on this train, just on the way to wherever it's taking you. So for me, voice acting came prior to that ever so slightly as I started to explore my voice, but way later when I started to think about how to pivot and how to take the same skills but use them in different ways. And you'd think it would be quite easy, but when you do something for a long time, it becomes part of how you see yourself and how everyone else sees you, and it becomes your identity. You sit there with all these questions about, am I doing the right thing? Should I focus more on music and singing? Should I do more in the voice acting space, and what part of the voice acting space, and so on. But once I was able to sort of let go of that and just flow with it and just trust that I'm doing the right thing, it all just started to make sense and happen for me in a way that is definitely in alignment with where I want to be. So music meant getting in more to music publishing and licensing music for in-flight entertainment and that kind of thing. And in voice acting meant video games, and so like big commercials and that kind of thing. And one of the things I recognize with the community sometimes is there is this thing of, I'm in a booth, I'm doing a lot of this by myself, because I came from the music industry, and in order to make it work, you have to always have so many plates spinning. I've taken the same mentality to my voice acting career. So it's always been about creating multiple streams of income, so I can live the life that I want to live on my terms. It's one of the challenges I face with voice acting is I never wanted to just become a tool. Like part of you has to accept that you're part of someone else's dream. You're helping someone else's baby survive and come alive and everything else. And you have to accept that's just what it is. But I decided that I didn't want to do anything that's not in alignment with what I'm about. So there are certain types of voice acting jobs I won't do. And the only way you can get away with that is if you have other stuff working for you. And so that became a big thing. But I learned that from the music industry, because it's even more cutthroat and tight and hard to make a living in that space. So that's where I really cut my teeth and figured out, okay, I'm going to do a little bit of this. I'm going to do some marketing here. I'm going to run a company, doing something completely different over there. And at the same time, it's fun. It keeps it diverse. You meet lovely people. Right now, I'm in the Caribbean, and I'm working with UNESCO to deliver a project on disaster preparedness with communities out here. And yeah, it's great to be able to take the same skills that I use in music and I use in voice acting and apply them in these spaces that can help communities thrive and stay safe.
That's cool. So how long have you been over there? It's been a few years, isn't it, since you were in the UK? Am I right?
Yes, it's been a few years now. And it's so different living somewhere compared to like going on holiday. Like,
yeah.
It really is. And I thought I was a patient guy. I'm Mr. Mindfulness, doing all this stuff. And I've had to become so much more patient. Infrastructure is different. Pace of life is different. And you have to accept that and find new ways of getting things done. So going to the bank, for example, take some sandwiches and a drink and something to read.
Wow, okay.
You're gonna be a while. You're gonna be a while.
Wow. Yeah, that is a different pace.
I do have to ask you about the Spoonface moniker. Where did that come from?
So when I was doing a lot more music, live performance-wise, my whole persona, my whole vibe was you look into a spoon, you get something different coming at you. And especially back then, and we're talking about 20-something years ago, I think people expected you to be a certain thing. You're going to be hip-hop, you're going to be dancehall, you're going to be a rapper. And I was singing, I was fusing folk music, I was doing live performances with accordions and all sorts at a time where people weren't doing that. And I think I just didn't like being pigeonholed. So it was just lovely to explore that whole persona.
I really like that.
Yeah,
and I never knew
cool.
that, and I'm surprised because I feel like I should have. So have you got a particular highlight from I mean, from either working as a VO or working as a coach or working as a musician, or is it the highlight, the fact that you've had this amazing kind of multifaceted career?
Goodness me, that's such a great question. And I think it's all of the above. You know, I came from such humble beginnings. So for me to have a #1 record, to perform on what we knew as Top of the Pops back in the day, show my age, as you know, at the time it was such a massive institution, and we grew up with it, and we'd run home from school to get ready for it. And here I was, just turned 21, on stage doing this.
Really young.
Really young. And I came from, like, I was at uni studying just like all of the cliches and everything that goes with being a broke student. And this opportunity came and it just turned my life around. But finances and so on aside, it was more recognizing that it is possible to do amazing things and have amazing opportunities happen for you, no matter where you're from. And as long as you're willing to recognize them and be open to them. And that was something that really stuck with me and serves me now as I navigate all these other spaces that I enter into. So that the Black Legend experience, the You See the Trouble with Me experience was massive for that. The confidence you get, just recognizing, be patient, keep grafting, be flexible, and you can create some amazing opportunities that will make a difference in your life and others. The other thing was later on in my career, because I evolved and it was important for me to pivot, as I said, and going from voice acting, but also acting. So I'm going to get right into it. Like, I grew up around a lot of domestic violence. So I saw my mum really get hurt by my dad a lot growing up. And when you're that age, you take it as normal. You think everybody else is going through a similar thing, of course, until you realize, oh my gosh, what was that? And you tuck it away until you get triggered or reminded by life that things aren't always the way you want them to be. And then all of this stuff comes out and you think, well, where did this come from? And it's all the unresolved trauma from when you were a kid, feeling not seen, not heard, feeling powerless to do anything about the things happening in your life. And so when I started to go on this journey of healing, of being honest about some of those past experiences and working out how to heal and reframe and look at things differently, that changed my whole perspective. So when we hit the pandemic, I started to read bedtime stories for people. Just thinking, I need to just do something. You know, I don't know what to do. We all had no clue what was happening, but I have a voice and I have a book and I wrote some stories. Let's just read. And adults were saying, I haven't had this. My parents didn't read to me. This has opened up other things for me. People start to share stories. Yeah, it really hit me. I was like, whoa. And then I started to realize there's so much more I can do with my voice, but also this pursuit, this journey of helping others feel safe to heal and explore themselves and just become aware, like without judgment. And that's all mindfulness is, really, just being aware. What do I feel? And eventually, why do I feel it? And so part of that is giving yourself permission to stop, be silent, connect. What do you feel without judgment? I like to say, tell yourself, even though I have these feelings, I can love and accept myself anyway. And then once you've done that, you sat with that, then start to think of the other side of the pain and how you can reframe it and what you can extract from it to help serve you in a more positive way. And that whole journey led me to study, do things like Reiki, even like Swedish massage and mindfulness, and then emotional freedom techniques. And this is where my mind got blown. So I remember it was around about the pandemic time, and me and my wife, we weren't married yet. We were really into exploring EFT. And EFT, emotional freedom techniques, often is about tapping specific points. It's a fusion of CBT and sort of the Eastern approach to acupuncture and so on. So as you're touching these points, you send calming signals to your amygdala, which help you ease out of fight or flight, calm yourself down when you're feeling stressed. But where we did like a 5-day course, and the first 3 days were EFT, all the science, all the background. But then there were some additional parts to it that really went deep with a fusion of CBT, NLP, neuro-linguistic programming and so on, and identifying the root of your challenges, identifying the root of your trauma and how those blockages that you're sometimes not even aware of can interfere with you moving forward into new spaces, whether it's your relationships, feeling confident in the booth, feeling like you deserve the job that you're getting, feeling, feeling like you can turn up to a social because maybe you're worried that everyone's going to feel like, what are you doing here? You're not good enough. All of those things. And it was intense. It was like, it was a good 8 to 10 hour day. And we'd go back exhausted, but buzzing, just like, oh my gosh, I thought this was just going to be tap a few places and go home. And so I came out of that and instantly, I just wanted to do it with everyone. I wanted to just say, look, let me show you this thing. Let me just show you this thing. And I went on this full-on journey, adventure of just sharing it. And then it became more than sharing it. It became full-on, let me do it with groups. And then it became corporate, and then it became, let me set up a business. So where I was actually doing a lot more voice acting coaching and so on, I moved more into the mindfulness space because voice actors were being impacted by a lot of the mindfulness stuff anyway.
Yeah.
So it just made sense. And so that's another highlight, to answer your question. That's another massive highlight for me. So that transition into that space, and of course, I loved doing films like Fighting with My Family, Nick Frost and, all that lot. And Pirates with Reggie Yates and Star Wars: The Force Awakens and doing all these films and all the people you meet and all the fun you have. Yeah, that's great. But the stuff that really stood out for me was the points where I pivoted and the points where I recognized that I could use my skills and experiences in different ways to really serve people.
It sounds like a really logical process when you've just said it out loud, but I'm sure it isn't. It sounds very natural, and I think that's what's lovely about it, and I think that's what obviously makes it so special and so suited to you, is because it just the way that you talk through that was just so, this is just me, and I love that about it. I think there's a real, certainly going to the kind of mindfulness and how it impacts the way that you perform and the way that you can run your business. I think it's really rare for people to be actually given the time to stop. It's not a capitalist thing. It's not what we're told is right. It's supposed to be go, go, go all the time. Go get it and fight for it. And the idea of stopping and going slower, I mean, I personally really like it. But I don't think that's what we're told to do. And I don't think we're often given that space. And which is one of the reasons we wanted to get you on.
I'd have to agree. And one of the things two things that I like to share with my clients is the phrase, create your own universe and give yourself permission. Like, people are often waiting for other people to tell them how to live their lives. And again, because of your past beliefs from growing up and generational beliefs and all the rest of it, you have these self-imposed barriers sometimes.
Yeah.
And it's okay to take your time to reframe them. It's okay to look at things differently. The way we were raised, I heard this somewhere and it really resonates with me. The way we were raised, it's not relevant anymore. That was from the time that our parents were raised, so it's not relevant to this world. This world has moved on. I feel it's all about balance. And, some people will scoff at mental health, wellness, self-care. And, often I will say that it's not a luxury, it's a necessity. It's imagine having a car and not taking it for a service, like even when you're driving, let's stick with that. You come to a traffic light, you have to know when to stop. You have to pause for a moment and know when it's safe to continue. It's healthy to have a moment. And the thing about it is sometimes people, when they talk about mindfulness and some of the tools connected to it, they think you have to be floating on a cloud above a mountain somewhere. And, it can be cool. So simple. And that's always a cool thing. The thing is, you can do it as soon as you wake up out of bed, just 60 seconds, just connect with yourself. Just take a moment to pause and just be honest. What do I feel? And the thing is, people are afraid to face themselves. And I get it, it's scary. But if you can just recognize that in that moment, you're in a safe space, you're in your bed, you're in your house, make it safe, go to where it's safe and connect and be honest about what you're feeling. I feel crap today. I don't like my mum anymore. My dad gets on my nerves. I want to break up with my missus. My kids are annoying me. And then, even though I have these feelings, I can love, trust, and accept myself anyway. And then slowly trace the steps. Like, why do I feel this way? It's okay to feel this way, but why? What? The thing isn't often the thing. It's often that you're triggered by something else that's making you feel that way. And then you can start to, another tool, visualize, well, what's your ideal life? What do you want it to be? And there are so many studies that show that you stimulate reward centers in your brain, neuroplasticity kicks in, new neural pathways, and you start to act in accordance with that thing that you're visualizing all the time. And the same is true when you're doubting yourself. And especially in the UK, we have this real self-deprecating sense of humor and everything, and constantly putting ourselves down. It's so unhealthy. Stop putting yourself down. It's okay to take a compliment. Someone says something amazing about you, thank you. Just say thank you and accept it, and get used to that feeling. For some people, it's uncomfortable. Get used to that feeling, because if you're not doing that, you're putting yourself down, you're getting in your own way, and you're stunting your own growth. And if you're around people that do that, you're not going to climb out of it. They're not your people. You need to find people that resonate in a different energy when it comes to thinking and feeling that way.
In terms of talking about the voiceover industry and your as a working voice, what particular stresses, pressures, pain points do you see that voices experience? What are the things that are going to be really ones that everybody can just go, yep, I can relate to that?
Yeah, the voice industry is unique in its highs and lows. There's a creative fulfillment of bringing a script to life, but also the uncertainty of gig-based work, constantly marketing yourself, dealing with rejection.
Yeah.
You know, you're handling the pressure of balancing work, family life, and so on. And then there's also isolation. You're there, as we said already. You're there by yourself often, a lot of the time, and that over time that can grind away and have a real massive impact on you. It's overwhelming at times. And so if you can put pennies in the bank with a simple mindfulness routine, that can help take the edge off and actually just generally make you feel much better about things. And that can be a number of things: being creative, taking holidays, which is so important. And again, if you feel that you can't afford to, you know, and that's a real thing, you can make it simple. It could be a night away. It could be a night with a family member or a friend. It could be a walk around the park on a regular basis, somewhere that puts you in an environment that makes you feel lifted.
Yeah.
And it will have such a profound impact on your feelings. Some people like to journal, to write down how they're feeling. I have something called Smile. I encourage people to do, which is, and you can do this for 60 seconds, each thing: silence, movement, imagination, which is kind of like visualization, login, which is like journaling, and empowerment. And that can be in the form of affirmations. And I use affirmations massively. And affirmations are a really quite simply a positive statement to inspire your subconscious to a positive place. You know, it's really simple. It's just a positive statement that you repeat to help squeeze out the negative thought loops, because we have about 50,000 or more subconscious thoughts a day, and around 80% of them are negative. That's just us beating ourselves up over and over again.
Yeah.
So you just take a moment to just say something the opposite to what you feel, then that will break the cycle. That will break the cycle. So for example, if you feel overwhelmed or you feel burnt out, you could say the opposite to that, which is I'm committed to taking time out guilt-free. You know what I mean? Because sometimes when you just say I feel amazing, you don't believe it, and it's important that you believe it. Right? So you can say, look, I'm committed to taking time out guilt-free, or whatever works for you. It just has to really be in alignment with how you speak and what feels right for you, but definitely positive. And just doing that with consistency can just deal with some of these stresses that we find we're faced with as voice actors, as VOs, and all the challenges that come our way. You know, I have to say, the time off, see, that's the big one. And tell me how you feel about this. Like, people are afraid to take the time off because they think they're going to miss out on work.
Yeah, I'm a lot better at it now, but that's because I've suffered burnout, basically. I've gone to the extreme of not having taken the time off, and I've, you know, my physical health as well as mental health has suffered, because then I just became absolutely useless to any client that I was trying to work with. But I still really struggle with it. But I'm getting better. But it does take, and that, I think that's it as well. It does take practice. You can't just go from doing nothing to having like 3-hour meditation, because your brain is just not going to be able to cope with that transition in one go. You've got to do it. Small steps are far more likely to be stuck with, but also I think a lot nicer reaction for potentially a system that doesn't necessarily want to do it first time. I certainly didn't when I started doing these things first time anyway. I think my brain reacted to it. It was trying to stop me doing it for some reason. It's weird.
Yeah, it does take some doing, and there are some things that you can put in place. So I guess all of it takes a bit of planning and being honest about when you want to take these breaks. Because if you can do that in advance, then you can maybe reach out to your your clients that you work with most of the time and say, look, I'm going to be away during this time. If there's anything you need me to do, please hit me up before, or I'll get on it as soon as I come back. And then, so, making sure you're keeping that communication going is so important. But then if it's about finances, it's also about being honest and saying, well, if I'm just relying on this solely, what else can I do so that I can alleviate the pressure? And a lot of people sometimes come from a mindset of, in order to make this sustainable, I need to save. I need to do more work and save. But sometimes you actually need to diversify. And so, can you make other products and services? What else can you do that doesn't take up your time? Can you commission people to make stuff for you, and then you set up an online store? Whatever it may be, whatever your interests are, do you need to go and develop another skill in another space? Because what happens is, after a while, you start to get desperate or you burn out. And even when you get the work, you're not going to be performing at your best. And that's going to have an impact on your reputation anyway.
I mean, we've seen that a lot over the last couple of years, really, is that a lot of voiceovers who have been full-time voiceovers are kind of diversifying, as you say. And sometimes that diversification is voiceover adjacent, like, they may have gone into coaching, or they may have set up a small agency, or whatever it is. But very often that diversification is something completely different. I mean, I do know of some voiceovers who are, working in cafes and supermarkets and things like that as just a way of earning the pennies while they're still concentrating their career focus on voiceovers. And I think that's a lot more prevalent than it used to be. There is the diversification, but there's also the culture, I think, still existing, that voiceovers have to be serious and have to be full-time to be kind of considered voiceovers. I don't think that was ever entirely honest, but I think certainly in current economic climes and the way that the voiceover industry is kind of heading for lots of reasons, I think we as an industry need to kind of get out of that mindset that if you're not full-time, you're not serious.
Yeah, absolutely. I absolutely agree. And again, I feel individuals need to make up their mind about doing what is right for them and doing what they can to let go of those pressures. Again, coming from the music industry, I had no choice to recognize that I'm going to have to do a ton of things because it's not always going to be consistent. Like you said about the VO industry, there was a time where music, you could make millions. At number one, you were making millions, and don't get me wrong, we made a lot of money doing what we did and getting to number one in the UK charts. And I feel I was just at the tail end of where it kind of changed. And you had streaming, MP3s and all that kind of stuff really disrupt the industry. And there was a lot less from record sales. And you've had HMV and all these big stores closed down that would carry the industry. And then it became more about publishing and more about live performance, and people were doing 360 deals and so on. In VO, we're looking at what AI is doing to disrupt the industry. And I feel some people are very confident, feeling, well, you can't get that human touch still. They're not quite with it yet. But if you're not already now trying to do something, because it's happening real quick. You could wake up tomorrow and suddenly you're like, oh my gosh, we don't need you anymore. We got this robot over here. And so you better start, if you're not thinking already, you need to be thinking now about how you can diversify your revenue streams and everything, because the tech is disrupting things very quickly.
Yeah, I mean, even in the last 2 years, it's drastically changed. It is scarily quick. One of the reasons why legislation isn't keeping pace is because it's going like a speeding bullet. I mean, it's just...
Yeah.
I mean, if I may, I'd love to encourage anyone listening where it's useful to explore things like, I mean, we're voice actors, like use your own voice on your own stuff. Like I record my own meditations, my own commercials and so on, and I use them to push my own products and services, monetizing YouTube channels, TikTok, Instagram, and that's become another revenue stream for me.
Yeah.
And then you can then deal with affiliate deals and so on, and I think we're in a powerful position because of the nature of what we do. So if you can just take a moment to think outside the box a little bit and have fun with it, it shouldn't be too tough actually to create some ideas about how you can move forward from those spaces where the industry is becoming a bit, is changing.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, podcasting is another great one. I mean, not just to kind of promote yourself, but also working on other people's. And yeah, I know a few that are doing kind of like it's kind of a cross from the audio book, I guess, but doing like kids mindfulness storytelling, that kind of thing in podcast form. And yeah, there's so many different ways that voices get used, not just for reading. I know it sounds ridiculous saying that out loud, actually, because it's hard to explain it. But yeah, I totally agree. I think, and not feeling ashamed of it. I think anybody who makes you feel ashamed is the problem.
No, absolutely. And there's nothing ridiculous about what you're saying at all. I feel people listening hopefully will benefit from the opportunities to come up with these ideas inspired by some of these things that we're bouncing at the moment. And it's what we need. And it helps that we have an industry where people are so willing to support each other and offer ideas. That's the beauty of the industry. That's the one bit I've said before and I'll keep saying. It's just lovely how we can come together and help each other and so on. And, I will be honest, sometimes it does feel a bit cliquey, especially if you're new to the industry. You feel like it's a bit hard to get in to certain rooms. And when that happens, I would just say, just be great, just be you, be amazing. And, just find your tribe over time and just crack on with it and not let that get in the way. But on the whole, everyone's so positive and supportive. It's great.
It's something that I will not tire of at all. It's very different to my background industry in marketing, which wasn't supportive.
I think it's interesting. Again, it comes back to mindfulness, awareness, and exploring the trauma that maybe has you thinking and feeling that way. Sometimes, as a kid, maybe you dealt with a lot of critique from your parents, from your peer groups, and you hold on to that. If you were seen to be doing well at school or in a sport or in any other way, you were told that you were showing off or you were clever clogs or whatever it is. And those things stick around.
They really do
into our adult phase of life. And unless we're reframing and doing stuff to do with it, it's going to stop us getting those other things. And the bottom line for me is this: we don't know when we're going to die. It could happen tomorrow. So what are we doing? We're just going to stick around, like worrying about what everyone else thinks about us, or we're just going to go live and do stuff and get stuff done. You're going to die.
Yeah.
So what?
Yeah. I mean, it's hard to say anything other than agreed on that.
Just to add to everybody's worries, let's remind them of their mortality.
Happy end. Oh, brilliant.
You've been listening to the Voiceover Social podcast, hosted by Rob B and Helen B from BEE.
Sponsored by BEE.
Voiceover Social.
Thank you to our guest,
Elroy Spoonface Powell, Spoon of Voice Guy, Coach Spoon, and you can find me at spoonsvoices.com.
The Voiceover Social.
The only socials currently in the diary are the Pint and Rabbit online social on January the 17th and February the 21st, and the Great Big Voiceover Social on January the 25th in Manchester, UK.
All audio production by Rob B.
Please like, subscribe and leave a review to help more voiceover people find us.
And if you want to email us, it's listen@thevosocial.com.
See you next month.
The Voiceover Social.
So please make your hands nice and comfortable. Put them wherever you like. Just you're in control. And just close your eyes. As long as you can hear my voice, that's the main thing. And often what happens is when we sometimes get triggered, the heart goes up, we're hitting survival mode, the rate's moving quick and you feel overwhelmed and stressed, what we're going to do is a simple breathing exercise to assist with that. So first things first, you would remove yourself, if you can, from that place. You may not know what's triggering you, so just remove yourself completely to a place that you feel safe in. You're going to start with a big deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. And at your own pace, you're going to do 2 more of those at your own pace. Nice and easy, in through your nose and out through your mouth. And I'm going to continue speaking as you do that. And ultimately, what we're trying to do is calm the heart, bring it down, get the rate down, ease you out of fight or flight. And when you've done that last cycle of breathing, you're going to continue in a cycle that works for you. No pressure, nice and easy. You're in control. So the next phase of this, I'm just going to explain it and then you can do it with me, is when I say you're going to breathe in, you're going to hold, and then you're going to exhale for twice as long. And you should hopefully feel some tension leave your body as you do it. So after your final exhalation, take a big deep breath in, hold, and now release for twice as long. And really feel your shoulders relaxing, everything drifting away. And just do one more of those. Big deep breath in. Hold your breath, and let it go. Nice and easy, twice as long. And really let it go. So now I'm going to move into a gratitude exercise. And I'd like to ask you to just think about something that's stressing you. Anything that's stressing you at the moment. You don't have to tell me names. You don't have to say what it is. But to yourself, just say what it is. And if you can, say it out loud. You know, it could be that your partner's annoying you, you're struggling with your finances, your kids are getting on your nerves, whatever it may be. And once you've said that, take a big deep breath in, release, and just say, even though I have these feelings, I can love, trust, and accept myself anyway. And just allow yourself. Beautiful. It's so important to say this out loud, those listening at home. And continue breathing in a cycle that works for you. And so now I'd like to ask you to think about an experience, something that's made you feel the most empowered, inspired, strong, capable, something that you're truly grateful for. Things, people, places. And when you can, just say out loud what that thing is. Really take your time and connect with that memory of it. And really start to focus more on the feelings of it. The tingles, the smiles, the warm fuzzies, the way you feel lifted. And just really connect with the feelings. And what's happening here is you're reliving that experience and you're releasing all of those feel-good hormones that take you back to that time. Take another big deep breath in through your nose, out through your mouth. And as you continue to breathe in a cycle that works for you, really think about this time, this moment. It becomes richer, it becomes brighter, the feelings become more intense, you can feel them, and allow yourself to do that. And this may be a bit new to you, this may be different, but give yourself permission to really lean into it and enjoy that feeling. Let it happen for you. And the more you breathe in, the more you exhale, the brighter it becomes, the bigger it becomes. And I just want you to say, I choose me. I want you to connect that phrase, I choose me, to this feeling of gratitude, giving yourself permission to enjoy those moments from life that remind you that you're adaptable, you're capable, you're flexible, you can survive the challenges, you can get through concerns about finances, about balance with your relationship, about finding new work, about being accepted into circles, whatever it may be for you. I choose me. Putting yourself first, healing yourself, giving yourself time to connect, just allows you to turn up as the best version of yourself. Just say, I choose me. Beautiful. And so just to finish this, I like you to imagine this feeling. Really focus on where you feel this sense of gratitude. And imagine it's a ball, a nice warm glowing ball around your heart. And visualize it moving all around you on the inside, going from your tummy, up back through the heart again, through your throat, where all our magic happens as voice actors and stuff. Goes up through the crown. And imagine, really visualize it coming out, spilling out the top of your head and wrapping you. So you got this glow all around your body and these feelings of gratitude, and just say, I choose me again. And to finalize this, we're going to do a full body contraction. And that just means you're going to ball up your fists, squeeze all the muscles in your body, and allow yourself to let go of any remaining tension. So take a big, deep breath in. Squeeze and hold, hold, hold. 3, 2, squeeze all the muscles. 1, now let go. And with everything that you can visualize about those times of greatness and the warm fuzzies, now, when you're ready, just take your time, move your toes, wiggle your fingers. And when you're ready, open your eyes. Just say again, I choose me.